Hello everyone, I'm Charlie Webster here. I hope you're all keeping well and safe. Now I'm really pleased to be joined by Doncaster Rovers and twice named PFA Community Player of the Year, Matty Blair. I know it's just us two from our home, so I'll give you a clap.
I'll join in as well then.
Thanks. We might as well start our work. This is for the EFL and Mind Inside the Mind of series for Mental Health Awareness Week. Matty, where are you at the moment?
I am currently in my living room, just obviously with the lockdown, everything else, just trying to enjoy it as most as I can, spending a lot of time with the family, which I've realised is the most important thing. So yeah, just in my living room at the moment, just chilling out.
Because you've got a 3-year-old as well, so how's it been?
Yeah, he'll be 3 at the end of this month. It's been brilliant. I know. So we've actually, this is going to sound really bad, but we as a family have created a little bubble for ourselves, and obviously our 3-year-old boy doesn't really know much what's going on. We're trying to explain to him why he can't see other family members, why he can't go and do certain activities that he loves to do, but we're using it as a positive to think that me in football, I never would get this time normally to spend so much time with him at home. And yeah, we're just trying to enjoy it as much as we can, even though we know how bad and how serious this virus is. So just trying to keep it as positive as possible.
Do you think that's one of the best ways to cope though? Because I can relate a lot to that. Too much news is just really anxiety provoking. And it's almost like, right, you've got to narrow it down to day by day rather than constantly looking at long term.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Well, the only news that we sort of keep on top on is the daily briefing at 5 o'clock. Other than that, so we check, turn it on, we see 5-10 minutes of it, we turn it off, and then it's back to, well, probably Disney, Cars, whatever, hide and seek, whatever we're into at the moment. So, but yeah, other than that, we, like I say, are very much trying to just enjoy the time we're getting together, rather than worrying about anything else that could potentially be happening, which, like I say, we know it's happening, we know it's bad, but for our point of view, we're just trying to keep it, like I said, as positive as possible.
How have you found missing football? Have you missed football?
Yeah, oh yeah, I've missed it quite a lot, but again, I'll go back to saying I miss football a lot, but I'm enjoying spending time with Archie a lot more. And when you sort of weigh up the sort of options, yes, I miss football, and yes, at times I'm thinking, God, I'd love just to go and have a kick about, or get back to training, or certainly get involved in a game and get that adrenaline again. But if that was to take away time I'm spending with him and my wife at the moment, then I would say, well, maybe not. So yes, I'm missing it, but the time I'm getting doing something else is far greater than missing football.
And has that made you think differently then? Because it's almost like you're kind of reflecting.
It's making me feel different. It's making me feel differently for the moment we're in now, because I can't. We're not allowed to go and play. I can't do anything about that. When the say lockdown's lifted, and hopefully sooner rather than later the coronavirus is gone and people get back to normal lives, whether I think differently again, I don't know. But like you said, for day to day, I'm very much for the here and now, rather than thinking like, when are we back to football? When are we back to football? When are we back to football? Just enjoying the moment as much as you can in such a negative situation we find ourselves in.
Yeah, to be honest, I can relate. I feel exactly the same. I've kind of switched it at the beginning. I was doing that because I was like, oh my gosh, and then now I was like, right, okay, turn it completely back around and just focus on what the now is. And what about, because I know how close you are to Doncaster Rovers, to your club, and to the players and to the fans. So what's contact been like, and have you missed that camaraderie? I know you said how important it is to be with your family right now.
Yeah, no, I'm in obviously a big WhatsApp group with all the lads, and every now and again we'll flare up and just have the banter and everything else, whatever. And I've always say to them, lads, if you need anything, I'm always trying to be a support, offer help wherever I can. So that side of it, but the staff as well. Obviously we've been furloughed now, and technically it's like we're not allowed to talk, or I'm not allowed. Well, I am allowed to talk to them, but we're not allowed to talk about work as such. So I'm making more of an effort now to speak to the staff to make sure that they're okay and their families are safe and everything is well and good. And obviously I'm a part of the Fit Rovers project. I spoke with Nick, who runs the department, during the week. during last week, and just made sure that those men and the women are staying well and active as well, because if one or two weren't, then I would feel a bit of responsibility, maybe just to give them a phone call and just ask how they are and just take it from there. So it's just, like you say, it's just trying to be just that person that can offer support wherever needed.
I've got a couple of questions from fans, if you don't mind me asking you about
Go
now, and then we'll go further into things. So, how have players, especially those isolating alone, managed to keep themselves motivated to get up and get on? I know you're with your family, but I'm sure there's a few players that are living on their own.
There's obviously one or two lads I know that are living on their own that are saying that they want to get back to normality with football and everything else. But for what I keep telling them is that you just enjoy the break now, get your rest in now, because football doesn't give you this. It's never given me this before. It doesn't ever do it. These are young lads who are hopefully going to have football careers for 10, 15 years. Just take your rest, keep your work going, because you should always keep your sort of keep your physical well-being going to help your mental well-being. But don't be an idiot. Just enjoy the sort of break, the period, and reflect and plan for life after football if you have to. Obviously, these young lads, I was one of them, thinking you're going to stay in football forever, blah, blah, blah. But realistically, that's not going to happen. Well, it's not going to happen. So just take this time now to reflect on what's important in your life and make changes if you have to.
And another one has been, how do you feel on a daily basis in lockdown? Before you answer, I think this is an interesting question, because some of the comments I've been getting, it's, oh God, I had a really up and down week. And I'm like, but that's normal. I think it's really important to say that. It's not, I don't know anybody that's up every day during this, and actually in life in general.
Yeah, oh no, totally agree. I've had my moments, and I know me and my wife have had our moments where we bicker and argue, and we're fortunate enough to sort of live in a house that obviously has a stairs, so someone can go upstairs, someone can go downstairs, even if it's half an hour, just to chill out. There's so many 3-year-old, anyone that's got a baby, you can know that yes, they're brilliant and wonderful, but they can also get a little bit sort of frustrating at times. I'll keep it clean. But yeah, no, I totally agree that I've had my moments where during the day even I felt very down and low, and then I've had my moments where I'm feeling on cloud nine and feeling great. So for the people that ask how I am, that's my answer as well. But I think for me, I can now sort of understand and know when I'm feeling a bit down and low, maybe take myself away, because then I'm not implementing anything on my wife. I'm not ruining her mood, spirit, energy levels, whatever it may be. And then I can just get myself back into it and come back and then carry on the day as normal.
Would you say that that's maybe one of the most important things, is we're all going to feel low at points, and some of us more than others. Is it more about recognizing it?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you realize where you're at, and you realize that actually I've had a good night's sleep, but I feel fatigued. Why is that? I am getting very stressed out. The smallest things that actually don't matter at all when you come to like circumstances, like for example, spilling a glass of water on the floor. You get irate about it. Why am I getting irate? It's just a bit of water. It can be cleared up with a cloth or a tea towel, whatever. And then when you start realizing them things, you can then I'll find myself taking myself just out the way for a couple of minutes, sort myself out, such as in like I'll have a couple of deep breaths and just calm myself down and everything else. Then I go back to what I was doing before, and everything's fine.
Yeah, it's almost like those behaviors tell you, okay, I'm not okay. I need to go and check in with myself. And what about motivation during this time? Because obviously you're still training and a lot of people are exercising.
Yeah. No, motivation has always been there for me personally. I find it, if so, usually what I'll do is say a normal season, end of season, I'll have a couple of weeks off, and then I'll find myself getting very lethargic, very slumpy, very like miserable, and like, I need to do something now because my body needs to keep going. And I find exercise helps me both physically, obviously, and mentally as well, to keep energy levels high just throughout the day, so I can just be a positive influence on the people that I'm coming into contact with. So for motivation for me, if I don't do it, that I find myself in a lot worse position. So I'll always try and do something. It might not be every day, but I'll always try and do something twice a week, probably minimum, to hopefully like counteract that negative vibes that come in when you don't do it.
Oh, honestly, I agree. I don't know where I'd be without going for a run.
Yeah, totally.
I probably wouldn't be smiling down the lens at you right now.
Right, okay, yeah. I'll keep running then and keep smiling.
Yeah, I will. And where did it all start for you? Because I know, we have spoken before. I remember interviewing you last year on BBC 5 Live, and you're such a fantastic voice for speaking out about mental health and an advocate within your own community and club. But where did it all start for you? I wonder if you could take us back.
So yeah, well, obviously mental health's been around for years and years, and people have been trying to bang the drum on open so people can speak about it for a long time. But for me personally, it was obviously 2017 when my brother died. July 29th, 2017. Now, I'd never experienced grief. I'd never experienced anything of the sort of what I was going through in terms of trying. So basically, the best way to put it is I tried my hardest to live my life. I just had a newborn baby at this point as well. So Archie was born in May, Ross died in July. And I tried my hardest to put things back to normal, get everything back to normal. I liked my life before Ross died, and Ross has died, massive impact on my life, but I want my life back to how it was. But Ross was such an impact on my life, I couldn't. How could I? My older brother, who obviously I'd known all my life, is now gone, and I was trying to live the life that I was living when he was here, which for me, when I openly hold my hands up, I went to seek some help, speak to somebody, a counsellor, and it was her that said it to me. Said, you now are on a completely different path in life. Go down that path. Stop trying to walk the path you were walking. And when I realised that's what I was doing, I could then understand a lot more and digest grief a lot more, digest my feelings a lot better, and understand my body a hell of a lot better to really sort of come back to my attitude and everything before Ross died and now after him. Complete new outlook on life, but still the same person of the attributes that my parents drilled into me as a kid.
It's interesting, Matty, something you just said. You said, I hold my hands up when you talked about seeking help. Do you think subliminally and subconsciously there's still something there about, can you say you've reached out for help?
Not well, I probably, I didn't even realize I said that. Not for me personally, because I'm more than happy to express any part of feelings now because I know how important it is. But there probably is still a taboo in the subject of seeking help, going to seek help. If you say you're going to seek help, does that make you weak and everything else? So I didn't even realize I'd done that, but probably there was something that then just went subconsciously just made me do it. But no, for me personally, it's not. But yeah, I would like to think that we're now coming into the generations of seeking help and speaking becomes the norm rather than looked upon in a weak-minded mentality or scared, whatever you want to call it.
What would you say to anybody that's recognised that what you've just said, and they're like, "What does it mean I'm weak because I've got to be strong, I've got to be independent, or are people going to judge me?"
I'd say that. That's what I think people think. If I go and seek help, does it make me weak, or do I have to be this? I'm going to use the male form here? Do I have to be this macho man, protect my family, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not going to say anything. Now, if you're struggling, then you become more of a man by going to admit and speak and make yourself known that you're struggling, and your family and everybody around can help and support you do that and everything else. All I'd say is that just because you go and see a counsellor doesn't necessarily mean you are going to make yourself better. I was told as well that, I always thought that the counsellor didn't make me better. I made myself better, which empowers me a lot more, because I did do it myself. The counsellor was there to help me. Brilliant. My wife, superb, absolutely amazing. Family, quality. Archie, legend. But I still went through the grieving process myself and came through it myself with the help of others. And to know that you do it yourself is also like its own little achievement, big achievement really, to understand what mental health is.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I think it's really important what you just said, because I think sometimes I myself too is like, well, they're going to make it all better, and actually it's about learning about you and about how to cope with those overwhelming emotions, which inevitably are going to happen because it's part of who we are. What behaviors did how you were feeling manifest in itself when you first felt something wasn't quite right after your brother's death?
it was a bit of a scary one really, but very fortunate again, because I was trying to, like I say, Ross died July 29th. Football season started the week after. Now, the football season, obviously, we just got promoted as well, so we're in League One. Darren Ferguson, Gavin Strachan, couldn't speak highly enough of them. That my manager and assistant at the time, they basically fathered me in the football world through the time, and it was superb. But I was still obviously trying to live, and it took me till about October time. James Coppinger, had a chat with him. It took me till about then to realise actually I wasn't quite right. I was out on a dog walk one morning in Doncaster, and on dog walks, I don't know if you've got a dog or whatever, but you get to know the same sort of people that you walk with at the same sort of time. And we became friends with a couple who played football. The lad played football for Donny, and he was out with his missus walking the dog. I was out with mine, standing having a chat, two dogs playing. All of a sudden, bosh, like I've hit the floor. I've fainted. I've completely gone. I'm looking up and I see Liam, his name was Liam, over me, like, Matty, you okay? You okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I didn't know what had happened. Didn't have a clue what happened. Walked home with the dog, got myself ready for training. Mrs. came running in, grabbed the car keys. You're not going anywhere. Just had a phone call from Liam's girlfriend to say that you'd fainted and you weren't right. I hadn't a clue what happened.
Right.
So when I got everything checked out, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 and all your sort of brain scans, your heart, everything got checked out, everything fine. There wasn't an answer for it, and what I'd done is I'd ran myself into the.
So just to take you back, so it was almost like everything was looked at from a physical point of view. Is that right? So it was almost like, right, first. What's wrong? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was at first. Yeah, randomly just fainted in the middle of a field, walking a dog. Yeah, what on earth happened? So physically checked over, everything came back brilliant. Actually, pretty happy with it. And then Darren Ferguson pulled me into his office and said, right, we need to have a chat. We need this, that, and the other. I'd been speaking, like I say, to James Coppinger and other people. And then we went and sought help. And that's when I started to become better. But I'd basically suppressed myself for 3 months to thinking that I was trying to, like I said, trying to live my life before Ross died. And it become too much. It overwhelmed me. My body basically told me to, no, you're not right, you're not well. And then it was from that moment on, I went to sort myself out mentally.
And what were the first steps then when you said sort yourself out mentally? And was it hard to maybe accept? Was it easy for you to accept, oh, hang on, this is this is because I need help mentally.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't.
No, it would. To be honest, the shock of fainting, which obviously that is a big thing to happen to anybody. Like I was 28 at the time, physically in good condition, playing football. We were in, I want to say this middle to end of October, somewhere around that sort of time. You know, season was well underway. Played games, fit. All of a sudden, just hitting the deck. It shouldn't happen. And so obviously I knew then that something needed to happen myself. Like I knew something wasn't right myself. So I'm all up for making sure that everyone's okay. Then I realised, well, time to make sure I'm okay. And I took a bit of time to take care of myself, look after myself, talk to people, understand, no one I don't think will ever completely understand, but really try and understand that it's all right to have, like we said, the days where you're feeling down and low, and then come back from it and be a positive energy for the rest of the day, like I've said before.
And when you first went to see the counsellor,
yeah,
like, can you maybe describe some of the coping mechanisms they implemented? I think it was it a female counsellor? And I think I read a great story that it was in your mum's old house or something.
Well, yeah. What I would say is that I do strongly believe that if people go and seek help through counselling or whatever it may be, that you do your research before and you sort of select the right one, because counselling is so many different ways and methods and everything else. But I did seek great comfort because the house I went to was the house that my mum was brought up in as a child. So her whole childhood, she lived in this house. That now there was a counsellor that bought it off my grandparents, and she'd lived there since. So I walked into the house where basically my mum as a little girl grew up her whole life, and then she went to uni and moved out then. But yeah, so that gave me comfort. I was sitting in a room, probably my mum as a little girl, probably, I don't know if she was she probably a bit stricter back then with drawing on the walls and everything now. But yeah, and that just gave me great comfort in itself.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So, and then yeah, myself and the lady that helped me was we had a few sessions together of just talking and crying and everything you can think of, to sort of like help my mindset. And then after, I think it was 6 to 8 sessions, she said, do you want to carry on? And I was like, I'm going to try my own. I'll try now to sort of carry on and see how I get on. And she was like, okay, I'm always here if you need me. And I always had that support as well.
How much do you think learning more about yourself and your own mental health has helped impact you now, and maybe things outside of football, like your personal life?
Oh, like I say, it's changed near enough everything. It's changed probably sort of how I even parent now, and the relationship I have with my wife even. I understand now that if she ever gets a little bit irate at some things I do, then I'll just say, right, okay, well, you know, like, stop there. We'll just have a moment to ourselves and we'll come back and we'll continue the conversation, or whatever it may be, you know, obviously. And then even parenting with Archie now, it's very much, I want to make sure that he understands everything he's doing and everything, and the psychological effect that could impact him with certain things going on, that I want to make sure doesn't happen when he starts growing up and everything else.
Can you like maybe quantify or give any specific bits of advice about coping mechanisms? Because the one thing you said throughout so far is that you recognize when you're not feeling okay, and then you take yourself out of the situation. But what were some of the tools maybe that you used to help? Maybe during the time.
I think it's just trying to work what's sort of best for you. See, for me, that I can sort of it's not instant. It's not like if I'm feeling minging now, I can go into the other room for 2 minutes, then come back and,
And then go, magic wands.
Hi Charlie, how you doing? Yeah, nice to see you and all that. Yeah, no, it's none of that. But I think I'm trying to get to a point where if you can pick it up early enough, it probably does make it a little bit easier. But for me, I just find that even if it's closing your eyes for 5 minutes and just allowing it, there's a thing called the bubble effect, which is sit down or you lie down, whatever, you close your eyes and you just let your mind just drift completely into sort of like wherever it needs to go, and just allow your feelings, your body just to sort of like float and make you feel like you're in a bubble. And then when you're ready to sort of like wake up or whatever, come round, whatever it is, however you describe it, that for me I find quite effective. But there are many different things that you can implement, as long as obviously you keep yourself safe and well doing them.
Yeah, I like that one, because it also slows your biology down as well.
Everything, yeah. You can slow your breathing down. You can make your breaths longer. You can make your breath faster if it helps, and really like start.
Go on, do it.
No, thank you.
Why not?
Yeah, that's just going to make me look silly. But no, there's just obviously certain things that can be done. Taking a long walk, go out for a long walk and just get the fresh air. Put your favourite song on and just go absolutely bananas in your kitchen to your favourite song for 3.5 minutes. And whoever's watching, so what? Let the world see that you're having the best dance you can have for 3.5 minutes, or whatever your song is for that moment. And just sort of enjoy life rather than letting it sort of suppress you.
Yeah, they're really good things for people to actually go and hold on and do, because I think sometimes it's not as simple as go and joy.
But I think we've got certainly there's the stigma of mental health, I believe, is breaking and people are talking about it more. But I think that also people, so you get told obviously your GP is a very good person to go and speak to, but your GP, always see a GP as somebody that will fix you physically, as in like, okay, I'm not feeling too well, there's some antibiotics, chest infection, there's your antibiotics. Sound 5 days, I feel great. So I just think that understanding your own, like you said, understanding your own body and knowing you can make yourself better is such a powerful tool to have going forward with things that happen later on in life, and your anxieties and your depressions and everything that you feel, just you can help yourself.
And I know like some of this you've then tried to implement elsewhere and worked with Doncaster Rovers and the players and the fans, and you're an on your side champion as well. Can you talk us through some of the work that you've been doing? Because what you've done isn't just about your own self as an individual. It's right, okay, how can I also help others understand their own mental health and get help?
Yeah, well, so like I said, I always think that in fact, let me start again. I actually really enjoy doing they're called player appearances, where you as a representative of Doncaster Rovers Football Club, a player will go into the community to show their support for whatever that basically appearance you're going to do is. And I always say that when I go, I want to try and learn something, basically, because I'm going into a community, I'm going into a support network, wherever it may be, and I don't really know much about that topic. I'm just a footballer going in. So I really make an effort to interact with people, to talk to these people, to give them the time that they deserve, because I'm there to support them as well, to give the time they deserve, but then also to learn from them. And throughout my sort of life, I pick up things from people that I like, and I discard things from people that I don't like. And I try and put it all together to make, I always said, the best version of me. And that is something that I'll continue to do with Doncaster, certainly in the community, between the relationships we have now. We've grown a bond that is probably unbreakable in regard to my life after football. I'll still speak to people at Doncaster that have nothing to do with the football side, but all the community side. Obviously, I'm the Fit Rovers ambassador. I've done that for a few years now, and I've really got to get in close contact with the men and the women now that are on the courses, and they probably don't see me as Matty Blair the footballer anymore, which I don't want. I'm not Matty Blair the footballer. I'm just a normal person doing a wicked job. It's everyone's dream. It's a job, but it's everyone's dream. But first and foremost, like everybody else, I've got no other rights to anything that yourself, anyone's got, and then that's for me is the most important thing.
It is funny, isn't it? Because sometimes there's that conversation, and I've noticed it a lot recently, about money all the time when it surrounds football, and it's really important that it isn't, in a way, because how can we understand mental health when we relate money to mental health as if, they have money, so how can they have, problems with mental health, or how can they feel down, or how can they suffer or feel lonely?
Yeah. Well, money, they're saying obviously money is the root of all evil, which couldn't be more true. That money, for me, obviously it can make some people happy. Obviously, that's their life, their choices and everything else. But for me, certainly with what I've been through with losing my brother and even lockdown now, again, getting another sort of realization that family is the most important thing. Money is just an object that will come and go. And yeah, I just don't see money being important in any part of life whatsoever.
And what about your work? I did mention it in the other question that I asked you about.
Oh, sorry.
You work with. No, don't be sorry.
So I just didn't
want you to think I was repeating questions I'm asking you. You're an on your side champion. I know you're doing a lot of work with the EFL and Mind. So I thought it would be interesting if you could talk to us about some of the work you've done with Mind and the work Mind do.
Yeah, so obviously Mind is a company that obviously help in mental health, and set up a partnership with the EFL in 2018, and I believe they've just extended it now. I want to say to 2022. But so that is to obviously bring a partnership that football has so much effect on people's lives, and the fact that now the EFL and Mind have come together, so the EFL have the impact on people's lives. Mind joining that partnership now is brilliant, because Mind will also then be able to they'll be able to support anybody from the footballing community that has their mental health issues as well. So that's obviously such a massive one. Obviously Mind have the squiggle on the back of every player's shirt, and their logo embedded in the numbers. And so for me personally, what I've been doing is supporting Mind wherever I can. Local Mind and Doncaster have developed a good communication network where every month or 6 weeks they're allowed to come to the stadium to have a social cafe, which I've been to a few now, where it's just as simple as a cup of tea, piece of cake and a chat. But Mind are bringing their local helpers, their mental health, the people that need the support, they're bringing them in. They're getting to have a chat with people at the football club. There's everybody drops by just to say hello. They're getting to look around the stadium, have a look at the pitch. I know they do a lot of craft days and work days, activity days. So there's lots and lots of that are going on, and will continue to go on to help anybody who may be struggling with mental health problems.
And we know how important, we're all football fans. I presume you are, even though you're a player.
Yeah, sort of.
And football's so much more than just the competition. It's that camaraderie. Sometimes it's the only time people have that sense of community. What would you say to football fans out there now that are really missing it?
I understand what you're completely saying. Yes, it's a generation thing. I've got friends who have been going to see Coventry City play football with their dads and their grandparents for their whole lives, so years and years and years, and you can't get that anywhere else. That is time spent as a family that is so important to these people. It's brilliant. The only thing I would say is, though, that we're in such a fragile situation that whatever happens in football, just be grateful, be mindful, and be well, that you have your club to support next season. I think it's such a serious subject that football, if it was to play, if it was to not play, I just hope that every football club comes through this okay and financially well. That the communities within the communities won't lose their football clubs, like what we saw with Bury at the start of the season. Yeah. If football doesn't lose a football club, I think it's a massive success for football. And whether, I don't know how long that'll take or whatever, but that is, for me, is the ultimate bottom line, that you cannot afford to lose one club.
Yeah, I could chat to you all day, Matty. But I do want to ask
yeah.
you one final question.
I would get on your nerves after about, well, it's probably been 20 minutes, but after a while, I would get on your nerves. Trust me.
I wonder who would break first, though. I reckon I could get on your nerves too.
Probably.
So what I wanted to end on a really serious question. There is a lot of people that really are desperately struggling out there, mentally, with depression, with anxiety, and just this really overwhelming uncertainty that we're living in. What would your message be to them?
Well, obviously, I would say to them, I can only really say from my experiences, but obviously try to understand how you're feeling first. Try and understand why you might be feeling the way you are. Then once you sort of can do that, you can then sort of begin to help yourself. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself moments throughout the day that you need to take. For me, you need to take your break. Whatever works for you, just really try and be in touch with your feelings and your emotions and everything else, and listen to your body. And it's very hard to do, but once you can start to do that, you will then start to really be able to benefit more from being healthier, being happier, and everything else. And then all of it, it's like a circle that all of it goes hand in hand with each other. There's always someone that you can seek help with. If you are really struggling, you can always, most of the people have the internet, go on the internet and probably Google a number to phone. There'll always be people to help that way. And just know that you're not sort of alone. The people next door to you that might look like they're living the healthiest life, the happiest life, because they're in the garden 24/7 and that, they might not be when they go inside. So just don't compare yourself to anybody. Just look to yourself and look after the people that are closest to you, and stay connected and strong as a unit, but individually and as a unit within the people that mean the most to you. And then the rest of the world is you can't help.
Can't control it, can you?
Well, exactly.
Yeah, thanks. That's a really good message. And I also do want to ask you a more specific one too, because there is also a lot of people going through a lot of grief right now, and that's something you've really strongly experienced. It can be heartbreaking, debilitating. Have you got any specific advice for how to cope with grief at the moment?
Well, obviously, with you saying, the grief again can be stronger or weaker in certain situations. Everything else, it is very individual, but it would be very hard for the people, certainly, that have lost their loved ones in this pandemic, and then not been able to even have a funeral for them or anything else. But what I would say is that for them people, for just anybody in general, that one day that this pandemic will end. It will finish. And then that can be the day that you say sort of farewell to your loved ones properly. You're going to do it now anyway, because that's just natural human being life. But there is a light at the end of what we're going through. You just got to sort of keep going day by day, like what was said in this interview, day by day, and understand everything day by day. And then eventually you'll get to the point where you'll be happy and you will get yourself back to normal. And then if that's before the pandemic finishes, great. If it's after the pandemic finishes and it takes years, it took me a good few years to really understand my emotion. I still don't fully understand them now. I'll say that. But just day by day, bit by bit, whatever it is, just understand how your own personal body and your mind works.
Thank you, and thanks so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. It's been great chatting to you. Thank you. And also remember, I'll say, and I'm sure you are going to say it as well, Matty, that if you need any more help or advice, that you can go to mind.org.uk, and where there's lots of different tools and help on Mind's website. But yeah, thank you. And also, I'm sure people can reach out to you, can't they, as well, on social media?
Of course, yeah, of course. Again, I'm on near enough every platform. I'm not on Instagram, actually. I don't really understand that one, but but yeah, no, I'm on any platform.
All right, you're on Twitter.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, I'm on Twitter. Yeah, so yeah, and I'll try and help wherever I can as well, just like I'm sure yourself would, and certainly anybody at Mind or anybody. I'm sure that we're all sort of trying to pull through this together.
Yeah, thanks so much.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Take care, and we look forward to seeing you play again.
Thank you very much. Right, take care of yourself.